Hey babe, it's jamithatsme here. Welcome back to my channel. Now let's get into couples retreats. So Yandy is still upset about the sit down that she had with Mendecees the night before. Mendecees tell her, like, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings or anything, but I was just being honest because I felt like I wasn't important to you for a long time. But Yandy is kind of tired of hearing him say that because to her, she definitely felt like she was supportive to him. Mendecees said that he felt as though she was so focused on holding things down that she forgot about him. I don't feel like he should be blaming her for that. I feel like, bro, that's your fault. You're the one who got locked up or whatever. She had to hold it down the best way that she could and hold herself together. So I don't think he should be blaming her for that at all. She had to hold down the house, had to hold down the children that they got together, and probably the children outside of them too. She had probably had to hold down as well. So I just felt like Mendecees, whatever you're coming up with is bogus because you are out of prison now. Yandy obviously did a good job and you're out. And you living and you thriving. What's the big deal? But I appreciate how Yandy was like, okay, well, let me tell you this. Since you see things how you see it from your perspective, let me clue you in on what I was really going through. She talked about how she was depressed, down to the ground, having to get up and constantly show up for these children, hating having to go to the schools when it's parent-teacher night and seeing all these kids with both of their parents, and she's not able to give that to her kids. She also talked about how she wasn't able to even really breastfeed how she needed to her child. Like, she was that drained emotionally that she couldn't even develop milk for her child. She was going through a lot. She said that she was embarrassed. She said she even had to lie to the teacher and to the kids about where he was at. Oh, his dad had to work late. Oh, we're going to see daddy at work. That's what she had her kids believing, was that the daddy was actually at work. She also said the stuff that you saw me posting was fake. It wasn't like, that wasn't me. I was faking it, trying to act like I was happy and stuff, but deep down inside I wasn't. I was miserable. She said, so when you came to me talking about emails and stuff and me not sending you stuff, I feel like that shit right there was petty. And he gonna say, to you, yeah, to you it was petty. It's petty as fuck, okay? It's petty as fuck. You the one who got yourself in this situation, and then you want to sit up there and constantly tell this woman, you don't got to do this, you don't got to do it, you know you ain't got to do it. And the moment she does not do it, it's a problem for you. So I'm confused. This ain't her issue. This is a Mendecees issue as far as how I see it. This is petty, and it is a you issue. How you gonna sit up here and tell this lady she ain't gotta do all that? She still do it because that's what she wants to do, but you constantly tell her she ain't gotta do it, and the moment she does not do it, it's an issue. I don't understand it, but okay, sir, you got it. Then he want to talk about him getting out of prison and stuff in the middle of a pandemic and everything, and I'm just looking at the screen like, how was that her fault? How is it her fault that you came out at that particular time? Okay, they let you out probably hoping you would catch it and die. They ain't give a damn, but like, it's like, how is that her fault? And then he said, I'm trying to make up to the kids. I don't even want to discipline them, because I feel like I'm trying to make up to them. She said, see, I like that you said that. The fact that you would even acknowledge that you have some making up to do, is that not enough for you to realize and see that you have to make up with me as well? This man said no. Whew. To me, that didn't make any sense because, once again, I'm still holding on to the statement of you told her she didn't have to do this. And the fact that she did do it and she stayed down, you don't feel like you need to make up to her at all. You don't need to do any of that. You don't have to, try and cook for her or anything like that. Have a special night. Like, you don't have to do anything like that. This nigga gonna say, I'll order food. I'll order food or whatever. And she was like, but that's not the same as like actually going in there cooking and doing some stuff like that. Like putting in an effort for me. Now, I also kind of get it on Mendecees' side just a little bit, because if he was not a man that cooked before he went into prison, he's not going to be a man that's going to cook for you afterwards. I understand if he were to go and do that, that's going to be a wow factor for you and be like, oh, wow, he actually put in some effort. Like, he really went outside of his comfort zone to do this for me. However, I understood what Yandy was trying to say, but I didn't like how Mendecees, was having the pushback with her as if he didn't understand it and as if she didn't make any sense. So as she's telling him the things that he don't do and how he can improve, it's like he's ready for the conversation to be over. And I'm like, that is so whack of you. So it's okay for you to tell her about what she didn't do and what she not doing, but it's not okay for you to hear about what you're not doing and what you didn't do. That right there is so one-sided, and that can leave room for, I'm sure, a lot of problem. And it's interesting because I always saw Mendecees and Yandy as a couple that didn't have a whole lot of problems, right? I didn't see that, but now for them to not have like a whole lot of problems as far as cheating or outside kids and all this extra stuff, I'm seeing that this is so problematic with his thinking. His thinking can deteriorate the whole relationship just based on his thoughts and how he sees stuff. Girl, Mendecees, see, you know, you're not the Mendecees I thought you was a sweet, quiet man and stuff, but I'm starting to see a different Mendecees, and I'm feeling a way about it. Let's move on. AJ has this sit down with Rada, of course, about the relationship and everything. She wants to know, why are you in this relationship? She said, well, you know, he's exciting, and you know, the spirit that he has, is kind of hard to find somebody that has a spirit like his that matches yours as well. And AJ says, I completely understand, but as far as excitement, you do know that you can go off and find that in someone else, right? Then she goes on to say, well, let me ask you this. Are you afraid of taking care of yourself out of fear of sacrificing him? Like, are you afraid of looking out for yourself, your desires, what it is that you want, truly want, that you will probably lose him in the process? You're afraid of doing that for yourself out of losing him? And she says yes, and I'm just like, girl, then you started your relationship off wrong already, and it's not going to be fixed. In my opinion, you have set the tone for how far he can go as far as the relationship, and when it comes to straightening him out, he's not going to do that. Not for you. I'm sorry. Just on how you entered this relationship and the things that you have accepted. Now you can go on, elevate beyond him and get a better man based on the things that you know that you want after being in this relationship. Take what you did not receive, what it is that you really want, and move forward to finding that in the next person. But it's not going to be Michael. It's not at all. So all of the ladies are outside kicking it. I don't remember seeing Princess. I don't think Princess was out there, but we did learn that Deelishis was a person that initiated sex with her man. They happened to be at a Gucci store. She has a personal shopper. The personal shopper said, you know, if y'all gonna be back here fondling and stuff, y'all can go ahead and do the do. Don't nobody else come back here, so I can make sure they don't come back here. Her husband was a bit hesitant, but she decided to go ahead and get it in anyway. All right, she wanted to let him know that all of this stuff you may hear about me as far as being a sex symbol is very real, and I'm very good at it. He also goes on to say that typically she's always the person that initiates sex and stuff, but she wants him to, you know, be the alpha male, be a bit more aggressive and take over. That's what she wants from him. But that could just not be his personality, you know, and maybe you just got to sit down and figure out what are some of the things that he does like sexually and how you can maneuver into getting into that. Maybe y'all need a sex therapist as well as a relationship therapist so that you can get to that place, because that man also has a lot of trauma in his life, which probably prevents him from getting turned on, and I guess the term would be hypersexual or whatever, being like that with her. So y'all may need a sex therapist. Now I do want to highlight this one little thing. I really felt like AJ was really on point with her looks majority of the time that she's been on this show. I loved her hair, and her makeup to me has been on point. I don't know what and Prinky, but primarily I want to speak on AJ, because I'm like, what's going on with the rest of y'all ladies? Do y'all not have y'all stylists there or something? Do you not have your makeup artist and your hair person or something like that? Let me know. But AJ was looking really, really good. I was like, girl, you better work. Okay, and you older, you're still fit, you still look young and stuff. But I was like, yes. She's still up there cranking out her house party dances and stuff. Like, I was like, you better go. Okay, you about to make me watch House Party tonight. She was up there getting it in, and I was so here for her. I was like, you better look good while doing it too. So the guys get their own therapist. Thanks to Mendecees. He went looking around for a male therapist, ended up finding Dr. K. Dr. K sits around with the guys, wants to know what's on their mind. You know, Kirk says that he's still stuck on what Rasheeda told him the day before about how he works too much. He's trying to figure out how should he not. And the guy, Dr. K, is like, well, when was the last time y'all, you know, spent quality time? He was like, I'm with this lady all the time. He said, but that don't mean that y'all actually spending time together. When are y'all actually spending time together? Like, let me in on something. Tell me something. And he couldn't really answer that question, because with Kirk, Rasheeda's right. It's always work, 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 work. He doesn't make room or make time for her in any other capacity because he's trying to get to the quote-unquote money. Kirk definitely says that he's in love, but he can only give so much. And I'm like, well then, I don't think you in love. I don't know. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on that. I think he loves Rasheeda. They've spent so much time. But I think over time, he's kind of fallen a little bit out of love with her. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this though. So for him to say, I'm in love, but I can only give so much, I'm kind of like, But all she asking you for is your time, okay? Just like a little dinner date, like y'all have every third Friday of the month, it's just y'all time. Like something every second and fourth Friday or Sunday or whatever it is, it's just strictly y'all time, no kids, no nothing. That's all she's asking for. So for you to say you can only give so much, but you in love at the same time, to me, those two are contradictory statements to each other, and that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, just be quiet, Kirk. Just sit down. Just stay right there and hush him out. And Raymond starts to talk about Deelishis being an alpha female and loud talking and everything, and he's wondering how does he help her tone it down. So Dr. K is like, well, you know, how you treat her is going to be one of the things that's going to tone it down, and she's going to be submissive to you based on, you know, how you come at her, how supportive you are, you know, how you talk to her, all that other stuff. And so he says in his confessional that he does try that, but it still doesn't necessarily, you know, work. So I don't know what's going on with Raymond. I don't know what he needs to do. It sounds like from Deelishis's background, it's like she needs somebody to yell at her. She needs somebody to yell at her for her to know that he is authoritative, or not authoritative, but aggressive, you know, and got that that alpha male that she wants. It's like she needs him to get real loud with her for her to see that. I'm not sure. Either that, or it's like, does she fully have respect for you enough to tone it down and adhere and listen to what you have to say? Maybe she's used to playing such a role in her relationship so much that that's how she's showing up in this relationship, and thinking that you aren't giving her enough. And that's not the case. Maybe she does just need to tone it down and really take the time out to understand her man and the type of man that she got, because she probably was used to being in charge and having an alpha male at the same time. But now she don't have an alpha male, and she's still doing the most. So that just makes me wonder. I feel like Raymond is right. She needs to probably bring it down a bit, because now she's doing it too much in a sense, right? Because she don't really have to do that. I don't know. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on it. When it comes to Mike, and he opens up about his life and tells us about how he's from Africa. His mom took him away from his dad when they were younger. It's like 7 of them. He changed their last name. She changed their last name. So once you change the last name, it's going to be hard and difficult for the parent to get in touch with you. And once he passed away, he said he had no emotions or feelings or anything towards his dad because he didn't know the guy at all. And I kind of felt bad for him a little bit. He said that, you know, he was never presented what a relationship should actually look like. That's why he has so many issues with cheating. And I'm sure if he goes on Iyanla Vanzant, she's going to get him together and tell him like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Now, Mendecees decided to open up his mouth and give out some pointers. And I said, look at Mendecees trying to give out some advice, but are you even taking advice yourself? Okay, I hope you're open to taking advice as much as you're open to give it. So he tells him, you never know what you have until you ain't got it no more. So if this is somebody that you're really trying to be with, then you got to get to a place where you're open to compromise with that person. And Mike was able to take in that information, but only for that moment. Because we all know it ain't changing over there. It's not changing over there with Mike at all. Princess has a sit down with AJ. She's talking to her about their relationship. AJ says that they have to fix the disrespectful communication. She also says that she doesn't see a couple that actually wants to divorce. And Prinky goes on to say, well, you know, I was trying to convince myself that I don't really care, but I'm seeing that I actually care a lot. I really do. So then she starts to cry. Next thing you know, Ray J walks in. Prinky lit up. She was so happy to see him. He actually joined them in on the session, even though you could tell he didn't want to, because he tired of Miss AJ, honey. And he didn't want to have to deal with nothing. He said, I'll sit down with her, but she better be careful. And I'm like, Ray J, if you don't sit because see, at this point, you're starting to make me believe that Miss Sonia Norwood and her husband did not raise you right. Okay, because you're being very disrespectful to women. We've seen it with your wife. We've seen it with AJ, and ain't no telling who else you've been disrespectful with. Okay, so yeah, that's what you're starting to make me believe. We thought you were the sweet, innocent Ray, but you're changing and making me think that you have no respect for women at all. But okay, so she says that AJ tells him, like, I think that the communication can be fixed. It may not be fixed now, it may take some time. Ray J says, no, I think it can be fixed, overnight. And she said, you do? And he said, yeah. And he goes on to tell Prinky about her actions and her antics and stuff and how he doesn't like it. And then she asked him AJ asked him, do you feel like her tone and the way she say things are disrespectful? He said, absolutely. He said, I just feel like when we're in the heat of the moment of our arguments, we need to be mindful and we need to be careful and we need to be respectful of each other to be able to talk to each other accordingly, how we need to respectfully, but also keep it within our home. And then that's when she asked him, does he want to get a divorce? And he was like, no. She asked Prinky, do you want to get a divorce? And she was like, no. They both sat up there and said they never heard that from each other. And I'm like, y'all not finna tell me neither one of y'all have not heard that the other does not want to get a divorce. Some part of me feel like, listen, it don't matter what they said. It's what y'all showing. Y'all still there, ain't it? Y'all still with each other. So clearly y'all don't want a divorce. Y'all came on this trip together. Y'all don't want a divorce. So why y'all sit up here playing us? See, what y'all doing is y'all trying to Kenya Moore us. Okay? Kenya Moore has been going on a divorce for about 2 years now. And y'all are in the first year of y'all back and forth divorce. Okay, y'all out here trying to play us and goop us because as long as it's bringing y'all money, y'all gonna continue to play the role. And that's what I'm starting to see, and that's how I'm starting to feel, and I don't like that. So Dr. K wants the guys to recreate their first date in an effort to try and reconnect back with their mates. And you had Yandy with her man, and you had Rasheeda over there with her man, and everybody was with their man, but here's what stuck out for me. I only want to talk about Mike and Rada, okay? He talking about some cheers to only having you and I and no BITs just for tonight. And Rada was like, just for tonight? He was like, yeah. And she was like, listen, I'm tired of looking stupid. I'm tired of this, okay? These women been out here disrespecting me and everything. Like, you're going to have to figure out something and put them in a place. You're going to have to, like, if I'm your woman, let me be your woman and say that I'm your woman. I'm trying to be your only one. Mike is at a place where he just like, no, that's not going to happen. We still need side chicks. And you're going to see that you need them too. Like, we still need them. We got to let them know why we are needed or something like that. And I'm just like, Rada, why are you dealing with this man? Why are you sitting up here dealing with this man? You telling him in so many different ways of what it is that you want, and he's still not listening because he's stuck on what it is that he wants. So leave. Y'all want two separate things. Y'all do not want the same thing, girl. Go out there and get what it is you want and let him go ahead and be with these side chicks and these women that he wants to be with. Let him do his thing. You ain't got to be with this man. You wasting your time. I need her to figure it out. Stop trying to change this man. If he ain't changed in all this amount of time that you've known him, he not finna change at no retreat. Not at all. So leave that man where he at and go out there and find you somebody else. But that's all I got. That's all that took place on Couples Retreat that I cared to mention. You guys leave your thoughts and comments down below. Okay? I'm Jamie, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram as well as Twitter at Jamie, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.